Okay. So the numbers look good, but then, and I think we'll get into this in a little bit with profiles and what the profiles look like. It's kind of like sometimes it's chicken or the egg because you've got to have a good profile and those numbers higher to get people's attention. And so you can't always judge like, okay, if we get this many followers, it doesn't always translate into this many sales right off the bat because it kind of has to work together and grow and evolve over time. Is that fair?
For sure. Yeah, no, that's definitely a good way to break it down. So yeah, I mean, that's the thing is, a lot of people think that like followers is automatically going to lead to conversion, and it very might so, depending on who you are, what your brand is, but yeah, I mean, the overall like engagement is the biggest thing, and kind of like you were saying, like the the followers and stuff, it just creates that whole like real like perception change of the brand. It just essentially like establishes a company or a personal brand or whatever it is as like an authority in their industry. So especially with like people my age, I feel like as soon as we come to like Instagram or to a business like a new brand or something, I
Yep.
always go to Instagram and search it and see what they're about. So for me, it's really powerful when I see a company that has like 100,000 followers or something. I'm
Right.
like,
That means they're
whoa,
legit.
yeah. I'm like, whoa, okay. Like
Yeah.
I never heard of this company, but it looks like I should have. You know what I mean? And so that goes for realistically any type of company, brand, or
Right.
personal brand, whatever. It's like that perception change of like the number is crazy, and it's like wild that it's like that, but that's the way it is.
Well, I think like okay, so it's 2020 right now. I think I don't know how many years it would be back. Let's say 15 years or 20 years. It would be like 20 years ago if you were a company or 10 years ago and someone tried to find you online and you didn't have a website. Perception
Yeah,
is, oh, this is mom and pop. This is not legit. So then everyone needed to go out and get a website, even if it was a one man shop, to prove that they were a viable business. So I think this is just another step past that because to your point, like, yeah, we go and it's like having an email address, right? If you tell me your emails, Mike at 123 at gmail.com versus your company name, I feel like it's a totally different experience.
for sure, absolutely, yeah, and it's exactly like that. It's the same thing. That's a very good analogy as far as the email and the website context.
I think where people probably get tripped up, and feel free to jump in and tell me your thoughts, is I'm an entrepreneur, I'm a self employed. So it makes sense for me to have my own quote unquote personal brand because I'm I'm an entrepreneur, right? But let's say I'm a W-2 employee where I go to work every day and I have a boss. I think a lot of times people are thinking, well, I work at IBM or I work at McDonald's or Starbucks or wherever. Like, why do I need to have a personal brand because I work for a company? They have their own page, they have their own Instagram. So, isn't that good enough? So, what are your thoughts on personal brands, regardless of if you're in business for yourself, regardless of if you're employed at all for that matter? It's just having a presence online.
For sure, yeah. I mean, so that's actually like a kind of funny that you brought that up because I was just talking about the same thing with someone the other day, and so depending on like what your type of like your field is or the industry that you're in, I almost feel like social media could be used as like a resume. You know what I mean? Like, so something that can just show you as a person and kind of like the type of person you are, um, and like the work you've done. Say for example, if you're a photographer, a real estate photographer, or something like that. Obviously, having a personal brand on Instagram, especially, is super beneficial because it gives you a place to showcase your work, whether it be the drone footage you could capture or, the in-home tours or whatever it might be. But so I mean, I think like I think that it's almost like one of those things, like I said, that it's almost like a resume builder. And so like when I was in college and I first started getting into social media, I managed a Nautica store, and that was actually one of the things that we did through our hiring process. Was we try to find these people on social media and see how they portrayed themselves. So I mean, even in that aspect, I think it's huge because like people have their profiles on private and stuff like that, and I mean, we would still get to them, so I mean, I think it could be good or bad for people, and I think that's something that should be addressed for people that don't really take it serious. because that's something that could be beneficial to them as far as even getting the job that they want, or something along those lines.
Right. So when we're talking about, okay, let's take a stab a little deeper. If we're talking about personal versus business, what are your thoughts? And I'll give you my opinion here in a second on, okay, so let's say you're an entrepreneur or you're in a sales career. If I'm a hairstylist, do I just post hair pictures, or am I posting hair pictures and post with other things like where I'm traveling to, or if I like dogs, I'm posting those photos? Like, how do you know what to post if you're trying to grow your business? Is it just business stuff, or are you trying to talk about your personality so people get to know you as a person? How do you feel about that?
Yeah, no, that's a really good question, and something that I think is very important, and honestly, probably one of the most asked questions that I get is like, Mike, what should I focus on promoting, my business account or my personal account? And I always tell them, like, focus on growing your personal account and making real connections through your personal account. Now, that doesn't mean like neglect your business account. Like, you should still be posting on there and have a business account, just as like a reference, but something that you can push traffic to. But as far as like something that's the best like bang for buck as far as time, I say focus on growing your personal account. It's the only thing that is like, it's almost one of those things where, like, your business, you can only really promote your business, whereas your personal account, you can promote anything and everything. It doesn't have to be business related. It could be the book you're reading, the food you eat.
Right.
It's one of those things where, to me, that's where I think I've kind of like cracked the code the best as far as growing my personal brand, because I've made myself very vulnerable on social media, and almost like one of those people, that people can relate to. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I try and go after like the I am you theory. Like, my life's not perfect. I'm no one special. I got things that I fight through every day. Like, even when it comes to getting up in the morning. But so it's, like, and I think that's kind of been the big push for my personal brand, is just being open and about anything and everything. And to be completely honest, I don't really promote anything to business related. It's probably like like 10% of the content that I post, and the other 90% is just my day to day life.